Do not forsake me, oh my darling. High noon, 12 o'clock. Hi, folks, this is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. How's everybody doing tonight? Man, what a day. It's always a day, isn't it? Well, it should be, because this is the biggest upheaval we've seen in human civilization, and I am not exaggerating. In nearly a millennium, Trump is going to prove to be one of the greatest leaders since Charlemagne, making changes around the world. And what are they doing in some district courthouse? You know, there's federal district judges all over hell's half acre. So they're going to tell me that all they got to do is find one, and they can stop the federal government. They can remove the Secretary of the Treasury, who's been, on the advice and consent of the Senate, appointed to run the Treasury, and remove control of the federal government from the President of the United States. A district court judge was put in 2011. I think it was 2021. I think that's right. Lousy 48 months on the bench. And him and another one, all from the First Circuit. I forgot to look up who's in charge of the First Circuit under the Supreme Court. Who supervises the First Circuit? Remember, a long time ago, I had a video where I was discussing how there's 9 circuits, and it might be, I don't think it's 10, but it's more than 9 circuits, but I'm thinking the 9th circuit's always causing trouble. But anyway, Supreme Court justices are in charge of certain circuits. So if somebody's got a computer there, who's on the First Circuit? Is it Sotomayor? I believe both these dopey judges are First Circuit. That I have my thumbnail. And if I remembered it this time, but I hope you guys are doing good. Let's see, Angel's here, Cliff is here, Wayne's here with 3 thumbs ups. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Better go ahead and do it so you won't forget. Hi, Diane. Yeah, I heard about that story. I don't know. You got to watch for disinformation. It's necessary on the 17th letter, but it is also part of the baddies use it. Darla, how you doing? Diane. Television shows. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be, well, I got some theories on this business with the judges. Hi, Rebecca. Gary's here. Ha ha. And, whoa, wait a minute. Get these chats moving. There we go. Debbie's here. Gary. All right. And which one is First Circuit? I think it might be Sotomayor. But, boy, this might be an exercise in seeing exactly what we've got in the judiciary. And what do they say when you get arrested, or when the cop, even before you get arrested? What does a good lawyer tell you? I had one tell me one time, if the cop's coming around, you tell him that you're sorry, you can't talk unless I am standing right beside your elbow. And he pointed at my elbow, and he said, that's what you say. I want my attorney right by my elbow. So I don't know. The more of these judges we've never heard about get rooted out of the system. They ran through them all trying to destroy Trump. We know a lot of them. I don't know them off the top of my head, but you got Kaplan, you got Engoron, you got Chutkin, on down the line, that have exposed themselves, and that the black hats came a calling, okay, for the wanting their chips. Their chips are due. You got to do something for us now. And they ended up making outrageous rulings and abusing the J and then 6 people. Hi, Miss Minder Sue. Todd's here. Tammy's here. Flannel Cheese is here. Pappy Two Bears. Brishner. Yeah, you have the right to remain silent. Yeah, keep quiet. Hi, Sissy. Let's see. I might say, Buckeye, how you doing? Nice to see you. So anyway, they have reduced themselves to going up. One's from Rhode Island, named McConnell, I believe. No, I think that one's from New Hampshire or somewhere up there. And the other one's from Rhode Island. The female, what's her name? I don't know what she looks like a real winner. She was a working under Sotomayor. No, you don't plead to fifth. I guess you say that, Debbie, but you just say, I'm not, I don't want to answer your questions. I want my lawyer. You don't even plead to fifth. Then everything shuts down. But they're putting their stuff down in writing. I'm just saying, and it's all going to be public, And so, I mean, what is wrong? You say to yourself, how could some district judge in some far-flung state or wherever the hell they're from have the temerity to put forth an order, and they could have delusions of grandeur, like I am Napoleon, like a cartoon, Bugs Bunny cartoon. I'm Napoleon. He might end up more like Robespierre. Remember they did a cartoon on Robespierre? They might have a complex or just flippant ignorant about what their power is, but they whetted their appetite when they raided Trump's house, when they had Engoron talking down at Trump and putting gag orders on him, and Mercan behaving like a scallywag, a judicial scallywag, in my opinion. So maybe they're just delusional from rooting for the judges that have already gone up to bat. So then the other thing to think about is, you know how when people get caught doing something wrong, they want to make themselves the victim, right? And the only reason they're going after me is because he's mad about my court orders. Maybe that's it too. It might be a strategy. Okay, and because it's dawning on them that this algorithmic system they have, when they were in charge, it was great. They could do facial recognition. They could, like Maxine Waters was bragging about years ago about Obama. He has got the biggest system in the world. He knows everything about everybody. Remember her talking about that? And it might be dawning on some of these characters that time is running out. Because they certainly are desperate. And okay, well, you're a vulnerable one, so you put a bunch of court orders out. We'll try to provoke Trump to do something to you, where we can, with our media we got in our, and I'm smacking my backside, our back pocket, very lightly, mind you, we can make it seem like Trump's lost his mind and is truly a dictator. And if they did catch what the money we gave you, allegedly, we'll just say he's prosecuting you because he doesn't like you. because you tried to stop him from taking over. Oh, it's all mind games. Mind games. Tennessee, how you doing? Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Ha ha. Angela. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Judicial branch is, they they make sure that really, if the judicial branch was functioning properly, they never would pass the 16th Amendment. And that is about taxing individual people for personal services, which is the road to slavery. I've been over that. Really, if they were on the ball 111 or 12 years ago, that 16th Amendment would have been struck down because it is in conflict with the spirit of the document. It's incompatible. It's oil and water, which does not mix. So, we've had problems not just with the judiciary, but with the Senate. When we move the Senate to direct elections, which are, as we know now, very corruptible, the state legislature used to choose the Senate. Did you know that? The senator for each state was answerable to the state legislature, not the federal Congress, but the state legislature. They removed that power for the states. And with the noble, phony, democratic reason of direct elections, which the average person would say, yeah, we get to elect. The people get to elect. Well, what they did was they cut the umbilical cord between the states and the federal government. Okay? They can't, state legislatures have much less influence over the senators. Senators just give their local state legislators the finger. They do whatever they want. How many times have you seen senators act in the complete opposite of the laws passed by their state legislature? That's because that's all they have to answer to. Under that system, you've only got to corrupt 51 people, and you control Congress. Whereas the local state legislatures evaluated and kept their eye on the senators. You would have had to corrupt thousands of people around the country to maintain a corrupt senator, majority of corrupted, conflicted, or captured senators. Now it's just a piece. All you got to do, 51 people, and you take over the country, basically. But people weren't thinking right back then. And, it's funny how all these amendments kind of got lumped in right around the Bolshevik Revolution. What's his name? Woodrow Wilson. All right. They use the term so loosely now, it doesn't matter, but it matters when I say it about Woodrow Wilson. He was a racist, and he was a communist, an egghead liberal. So, his wife was even worse, and she ended up running the show after he stroked out. They kept him in there. So, it's funny how all these major changes, structural changes, to the Constitution structure occurred during this 1913 was the meeting on Jekyll Island, wasn't it? Yeah. That's the same year they cooked up the 16th Amendment. Now, when it was actually imposed on the people, Might have been a couple of years after that. But anyway, hi, Sue. How you doing? So now here they are. They're running out of options. Trump is leading like a big dog. I'm seeing if anybody answered, and if you did answer me, I'm sorry. I've been talking and not paying attention every chat. Who is the justice in charge of the First Circuit? I think it's Sotomayor. This may be drawing the rats out. And, you know, there's a lot of ways you can interrogate people and they don't even know it. They're being interrogated. You can be investigated and you don't even know you're being investigated. As soon as you say, I'm a federal agent or I'm a law enforcement and I have to ask you some questions, people go, I want to talk to my lawyer. And then that's it. You can't interrogate them. But I can talk to anybody in the street, the Walmart, on the sidewalk. What do you think about Trump? Blah, 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 blah. Now I say, I'm with the federal government. What do you think about Trump? I'm not saying nothing. So, yeah, you just engage them in regular conversation or in the course of their profession, okay? And, you know, if they're willing to keep talking, they keep talking. It's a free country, right? So they might be writing these orders and building a case against themselves. So that's why I'm wondering, somewhere 2nd District, Ketanji Brown Jackson. First, I knew it was one of those loony libs on the Supreme Court. They are the most loony. Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson. And then sitting there on, you know, on the fringe, but still a nutcase. I don't think she was ever an attorney. Practicing attorney, Elena Kagan. So anyway, how it works is they put forth these rulings, you know, I am Napoleon, I will take over the government and the president will do what I say. And then it goes into appeals courts. And eventually, well, then you find out who the loony bins are on the Supreme Court. I mean, the appeals court. Well, have them write opinions where you could say down the road, you obviously don't have a grasp of the Constitution that you sworn to uphold. Now, say it gets to Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's got to put her opinion out there. Okay? It'll either be witnessed by other justices or put down in writing for the world to read. So, you know, Trump, that report I read, or the tweet I read about this USDA woman, or is that what it was, where she got fired? She ordered the destruction of 700,000 chickens and then another 500, I don't know how many, it was over 1 million or millions with an S on it, because they claimed one person, okay, got the bird flu, and they claimed 60 other people in the entire country had the sniffles or whatever. Nobody else passed away, you know. Any kind of flu, you get better, and then, okay, it's not, you know, the end of the world, right? People get the flu all the time. Now, if you're 80 years old, that's a dangerous thing. But anyway, they said in that tweet that JAG removed her from the office, and the first thing he said was arrested. I'm going to put that tweet in the same category as the whistleblower talking about what's his face up in Pennsylvania, supposedly having knowledge of Trump's assassination and Christopher Wray covering it up, because they want to provoke Trump to do something that this country hasn't seen since the 1860s and claim that Trump is out of control. We want the message to be, and the process to be clearly defined in a majority of the population's mind. Like I said, when everybody, the majority, a great majority of the people nod their head saying, yeah, these people need to be punished. That's when you're going to see the hammer drop. And necessity, right? Military necessity. That's the first law of war. I was going to put JAG in my title, but we will see them in their role. We're going to see the civilian side of government handle its business and the military side of government handle its business. Now, this woman that got removed, JAG may very well have been involved. That was the only report I saw from somebody on Twitter, So that's far, to me, from proof that JAG actually was involved. But when you look at it, a major purposeful disruption of the nation's food supply falls under national security, right? A major intentional attempt to frighten the populace is part of illegal psychological warfare campaigns. That is a matter of national security. So yes, JAG may very well have been involved. So, but I haven't seen anything from a credible source that JAG got a hold of this USDA person. But there is definitely grounds. Because who's the next judge that poked her head out of the woodwork? Amy Berman Jackson. Is that a familiar name? How you doing, Mac? Benjamin. I want to thank Mike and Bev for stopping by last night or tonight. Stop by, buy me a coffee, and help me out. I got a link in the description there if anybody wants to help out with buy me a coffee. And Miss Mendersue, are you in it? Miss Mendersue's in the crowd. Lone Wolf's in the crowd. How you doing? Miss Mendersue for stopping by last night and buying me coffees in the plural, and also Gary. This is a new week. Gary, Miss Mendersue, and Mike and Beth. Anyway, so Amy Berman Jackson, where did we hear her name? She's the one who presided over Roger Stone's case. She also was cited in the documents when they raided Mar-a-Lago. Some years earlier, she's the one that wrote the opinion that Bill Clinton didn't do anything wrong when they found classified documents in his socks drawer. They called it the socks case. So that case didn't get a peep. Nary a peep. Ha ha, Miss Brenner said boom, boom, boom. Ha ha. Sissy said boom. And the media never brought it up. But now she put out a court order that said that Trump couldn't remove this bonehead, some bonehead special counsel, and that no one could deny him entry to his office, his papers, and President Trump couldn't assign anyone to replace him. Oh, Amy, you've gotten your fingers in some stuff in the past, very questionable, and you're coming back for more. And let's just see about that. The one of the cases, there's what I heard, it might be up to 5 judges causing trouble, but I'm talking about the 3, the 2 on my thumbnail screen. McConnell, I forget the other woman's name. She kind of looks like Sotomayor, a toad frog. And then this Amy Berman Jackson put a temporary restraining order, TROs. So they're throwing these TROs out like they're dealing cards, wanting to run the executive branch. Well, Robert Gaboya was reading, what he does is he reads through the orders. One of them, I think it was McConnell, did what's called an ex parte hearing. Get this. Usually you go to court, you get somebody serve you some papers, say, hey, I'm suing you, or, we have a dispute and you got to appear before so-and-so, on such and such day. Oh my gosh. And then you go to court and you set a trial. So they say, I need a bill of particulars and the grounds of defense and all this crazy. That's for like civil disputes and stuff like that. But here they didn't even tell the Trump administration anything. They just went in there and said, it was, what's her face? Letitia James and her cohorts. And what did we hear last about her? I'll put your fat A and then double S in jail. You keep screwing around with Trump. Oh, that didn't stop her. Because maybe she's wondering, hey, they might find out how I am probably like that girl I talked about last night who can't even spell, how I ended up with millions of dollars. Oh, my God. USAID's money. Okay. Oh, boy, we're going to talk more about that because I had my finger on the pulse of this Gamergate business, but that, believe me, sounds childish, sounds like it's a side story, but it is not going to be a side story. It's already blown up. Okay. Who uses the internet the most? Who is one of the categories of people we need to wake up the most? Young people. Okay? Because we can prove ourselves right in our golden years or our senior citizen years or our middle-age years. We were right. But if the people younger than us don't accept that or know it, we'll be gone. And wrong will be right once again. We need the young people to see. And so I'll get into that because there's so much flying around. Oh, gosh, what I meant to put in my thumbnail, too. WikiLeaks is back. Did you all know that? WikiLeaks is posting it again. What did Mr. T say? I love WikiLeaks. Well, they're posting again. And the media is trying to put up roadblocks. It's trying to use division. It's trying to use insults, slurs, insinuations, fear-mongering, anything but report the news. Anything but report the news. Let me. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. Darla. Nice to see you. Let's see. That's right. That's right. Oh, what were they saying about Gitmo? I saw a video. It was either MSNBC or Deface the Nation. Trump is he's getting ahead of himself. They only have a couple hundred beds at Gitmo, and they could end up in their rush to arrest these migrants. They could get somebody who doesn't belong there by accident and violate their rights. And there's not enough space there. Haven't you been paying attention? No, you haven't, because you're part of the mainstream media, which is run by USAIDs and paid off. Okay, Politico is not the only one. We're going to be finding out, like the New York Times. Okay, ABC, I think, is going to be tied into it. How do these companies keep going when they don't have an audience? It's your bread and butter, man. But they keep showing up. That's why Trump said, Huffington Post, I thought they were dead. He said that on Air Force One yesterday. And then again at a press conference the day before. What did you think about the cover of the New York Times with Elon Musk sitting behind your desk? Of Time Magazine, I'm sorry. He said, Time Magazine? I thought they were closed shop. I thought, how are they still around? He's letting them know, Huffington Post and Time Magazine. We know how you've been paying your bills. We know how you're staying open when nobody pays a damn bit of attention to you, except for the probably 25%, which is shrinking. Okay, remember 70%, according to a CNN poll, 70% saying Trump is doing what he said he would do. 68% are feeling good about the country. You can add another 5 to 10% on that just because it's a CNN poll. We're down to about 20 to 25% of diehard, hardheads, stubborn people, or lunatic liberals. And that's shrinking daily. So that's why it's important. Timing is important. Optics are important to let them make the mistake. Trump is in the catbird seat. He's got the power. He's got the presidential immunity, which was always generally recognized and was abused in Nixon's administration. Okay? Judge John C0UP had no business sticking his nose in the executive branch to the level that he did about the tapes. Okay? But that's another story. We all know that this not only is a second revolution, but a second American Revolution, but this is also to vindicate Nixon and also to find retribution for Kennedy. Okay? But anyway, what is the president? He's the chief law enforcement officer of the United States. He's the HOMIC. Do anybody? You guys got an idea what that means? HOMIC. Hi, Melvita. Thank you, Melvita. I appreciate that. Not only is that he's the commander-in-chief. The final word for the armed forces. That makes him the HOMIC, the head orange man in charge. So these judges are either really dumb and arrogant and delusional, or they're trying to put up a defense of, I'm being victimized because I ruled against him, and lean on the media putting forth the false narrative, the news distortion, which is a violation of FCC rules, that Trump is acting in violation of the law. So it could be, as Gavoya mentioned, an impeachment trap, where they'll say, now we'll impeach him again. But that, they're already at very low odds for that. But it ain't, the odds are not zero. All right. I don't care if it's 5%. We got one shot. This is it. This is not a rehearsal. This is it. It's showtime, baby. So we have the luxury of time. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They can't arrest Donald Trump, but they threatened the Secretary of the Treasury. This, I believe, was this McDonald guy, said that arrests were possible. Put it in writing for contempt of court, because they're saying they didn't follow his order, which was ex parte. I was talking about it. I got away from it, drifted away. Ex parte means the Trump administration wasn't even present. There was a fight going on, and nobody invited them. And the judge made his rulings without the Trump administration even knowing there was something that needed to be ruled on. No opportunity to put up a defense. And it was after midnight on a Saturday. Is the regular news going to report that kind of unusual behavior, outrageous behavior by a court? Oh, no, Melvita, there was two planes that hit each other on the runway. Well, it wasn't to hit each other. It was a small private jet. It looked to me, came up and hit a bigger jet in the back rear quarter of the plane. So, no, it wasn't a plane crash. Yeah, now they're going to twist that to blame it on Trump too. Another aviation accident. They were on the runway, taxiing, and I don't know, maybe the pilot was daydreaming, or what? Maybe the pilot could have had a medical event, or just bad piloting. So anyway, it wasn't an air collision. It was a collision on the taxiway. So I believe it was Arizona. Yeah, I believe it was Arizona. Somebody with a lot of money had that smaller jet, and it looked like a commercial plane. Yeah, I don't know who Vince Neil is. Yeah, they're out of ammo. Ammo is expensive. That's what the 17th Post said. And they're beating an old drum with resorting to the courts. I'm just looking through the chest. Okay, so yeah, I don't know how much people, we refer to them as normies or whatever. It's so much information. I was worried about information overload, or people going, "Oh my God, I can't take it anymore," and not paying attention. But I think with this high profile, being the first president to go to the Super Bowl, things like that, then putting down this high noon thing about Israel, and talking about and engaging with the press about something for everybody to pay attention to Trump and what he's doing. And he's putting forth solid, well-reasoned, common sense answers. Okay? and also participating in things like the UFC, like the rallies, like the Super Bowl, and then renaming Gulf of America, which Google Maps has changed. But when he got down to the Palestinian conflict, he said, I don't want any more dribs and drabs coming back with these hostages. Remember, yesterday he said his patience was running out. If you listen to him, he'll say, I'll leave it up to Israel. But I would say that if we don't have them back by noon on, was it Saturday? That there will be hell to pay, is what I would say. So it's kind of like he's putting himself in a Dutch uncle advisory role. I was going to name my channel Dutch Uncle, but anyway, hey, I would say if you don't have them back by noon, we're tired of playing games. Let them do what they want. That's the way Trump put it. If you listen to him, the media is putting it out there like Trump is saying, if they're not back by noon, all hell will break loose. That is not what he said. It's a distortion of the news. Hi, Elohim. How you doing? I don't think anybody got hurt in that taxi collision. It was a fender bender. They're just driving down the runway or taxiways. Yeah, Robert Blagojevich got pardoned. And he said they set him up like they set me up. He said he was dealing with the same no good people I was dealing with. Oh, singer of Motley Crue. Oh, they're probably the pilot probably had a contact buzz, probably from smelling their clothes when they got on a plane. Oh, one died. Holy cow! Must have been somebody in the cabin, or yeah, probably the pilot. Those airframes and skins, I mean, it's like flying in a beer can. It's thin aluminum. Thin aluminum. 4 injured. Well, must have been traveling at speed. All right, Gary, back at you. Yeah, we're having fun. It is sad about these people. But they, how can they blame it on Trump? I mean, when the pilots are on the taxiways and the runways, other than giving them direction and telling them which taxiways to get on and when to commence their takeoff. Wow. Well, a jet can get airborne. Stall speed on a lot of smaller aircraft. By small aircraft, I mean less than a passenger jet. It's around 80 to 85 miles an hour. The plane loses lift and wants to stall. So, in other words, when you reach 85 or so, 90, you can start to take off. Yeah, that's what I thought, Lori. The Lear was booking probably in takeoff. Hi, Wack, how you doing? Just Bean. So, yeah, they're going to try to blame Trump. Say, because he messing around with it's just like with the egg prices and, oh my gosh, We're ruining the Jordanian economy because of U.S. aids being cut off. Well, that's Trump's bargaining chip. He wants them to take Palestinians along with Egypt. Why should we be sending them enough money to employ almost 40,000 people in another country? Actually, there were less Jordanians that lost their jobs than Americans who lost their jobs when Joe shut down the pipeline. 45,000 people lost their jobs in America when Joe shut down the oil pipeline right when he got in, air quotes, office. And they say 38,000 Jordanians lost their jobs, so we should all shut down the federal government and all raise hell and all impeach Trump because of 38,000 Jordanians who haven't been playing ball with the Palestinian question. Now maybe they will. And Trump said, oh, you know, we can help you. You can employ people with our help, but we want something in return. No more F you very much for the money. So let's see. Hopefully I won't drop off screen because I thought I took a picture of that runway collision. I'll call it a runway collision instead of a taxiway collision, since it was I didn't know what the speeds were or anything. Yeah, now they want to shut down the government. They had that one that looks like you remember the movie that came out, The Dark Crystal? Jim Henson did it with the Muppet technology with the vultures, or whatever they're called. They're called screes or something like that. That one congresswoman that looks like one of the creatures from Dark Crystal. And except she didn't have her purple hair. She didn't have her purple hair. So they're bending some. You know, the other thing, too, I'm wondering about is what in the world is going on with Fetterman? Somebody got to Fetterman because he is not supporting RFK or Tulsi. And you know what? I wasn't born yesterday, obviously. I said something happened to Fetterman. I believe in a good way. When he was at Andrews Air Force Base under psychiatric care. I don't think he's needed to pass Tulsi. I don't think he's needed to pass RFK. They're going to get through. But could he be allowing himself to be approached by people who are trying to influence him, bribe him, threaten him, or whatever, and documenting it all and saying, oh, okay, I give in, I won't vote for, you know. And believe me, if he's not going to vote for Tulsi or RFK, he's not going to vote for Cash. But yeah, blackmail him too. But could it be that he's wired for sound? Because let me tell you something. He put out some stuff and took positions and gave interviews that gave a lot of Democrats the excuse to jump ship. To jump ship. So anyway, we'll see what happens with Fetterman. I'm just wondering. I think that he got debriefed. He got debriefed at Andrews Air Force Base about what was happening to our country. I'm looking for the picture of that plane wreck, and I don't have it high in my. It could be farther down. Oh no, there's my my other thumbnail. Okay. Well, I remember from what I saw in the picture where I could see that somebody could lose their life, because I saw a video where a young girl, she was like 7 or 8 years old. Her parents were letting her drag race. Did you all see that YouTube video? And she's no longer with us. She hit a wall drag racing. And you remember, a lot of people remember Dale Earnhardt. When Dale Earnhardt died, if you watch the video, when he actually wrecked, it looks like he just kissed that wall. How many of y'all remember back when Dale Earnhardt died? I mean, that's been 25 years. But if you see the picture of that wreck, he's flying along, the car turns, I believe, to the left and drifts and kind of just looks like it just bounces off the wall. But it was for an instant a human being going at a high rate of speed and suddenly stopping and then continuing to fly down the drag or racetrack. It was that instant of high speed bump that stopped that caused his brains to get shocked to the point where it's killed him instantly. Sudden stop. They always used to say it's not the fall. It's not the fall. It's the sudden stop. So I believe with the girl, when she hit the wall, it was the same thing. And with this pilot, same thing. I think it's internal cranial disruption, because nobody expected Dale Earnhardt to be dead when they ran up to the wreck. And then when they saw him, they whoa, because you're well, anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so you could see that for the pilot and also for this poor young girl who would I would not. Man, are you kidding me? At that age, I'd be on the teacup ride. And she wouldn't be, you sit down and you put your seatbelt on. It's a teacup. I don't care. Sit down and put your seatbelt on. So, but people think life is a video game, don't they? Life is a video game. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it, Larry. I don't see any large caps, bro. Is it somebody taking my chats down? Better not be. Well, YouTube will do it sometimes. But I don't know what you're talking about, Larry. I don't see any caps. Well, I think you get more than $385, Melvita, don't you? I think the minimum amount is $720 or something like that, $750. So anyway, So we were talking about the Palestinian question. They throw everything at them during these press briefings. And, at what point are people going to get, I think Trump, along with planning out this term, I think they reviewed a lot of the past press conferences, past interviews over the years, and he has gotten into a practiced, I'll say, performance of level-headedness and patience. He's not letting them get his goat, and I think that's really important. Did you all hear? Let me give you an example of the kind of stuff that's going to come out over this U.S. AIDS thing. A lot of people talk about the Peruvian sex change for $2 million. A lot of stuff that everybody needs to know about. The condoms for $100 million and that kind of stuff. But they have been getting, and I have talked about it, I called it cultural vandalism. Cultural vandalism. How they destroyed. You all have heard me say it many times. For new people, I'll just run down real quick. They destroyed the comic book industry. They destroyed the movie industry. They destroyed Star Wars, Lucasfilm. They destroyed television icons like Doctor Who, the Star Trek, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, you name it. They have put their woke message and all that crap. I did not know this, but Netflix did a series on Cleopatra. And they made Cleopatra a woman of color. Now, keep in mind, who's on the board of Netflix? Who's on the board of Netflix? So, they've been doing race swap, and they made Captain America a black guy. They, I think Hawkeye. No, Hawkeye. Hawkeye. I can't remember. All these people. They redid some Tolkien stories about the hobbits, and they made some of the elves people of color. They changed Snow White. Down the line. But when it got to Cleopatra, and I talked in the past, that Arabic people are Caucasian. Okay? And I've been over about Arabic. That means a desert person. It's not a nationality or a race. But Arabic people are technically considered Caucasian, generally considered Caucasian. Well, anyway, everybody said, "Oh, all right." The movie was a flop. Nobody liked it. Bad production. They dumped who knows how much, hundreds of millions into it. Another loser, not just because of the, situation with the race, but it was just a bad flipping movie. Plus, they tried to change history. I had no idea that the Egyptian government sued Netflix. There you go, Melinda. Obamas are on the board of Netflix. Well, I think it's going to come out that a lot of USAID money, AIDS money, has been going to Netflix too. And I believe that whatever settlement was reached with the government of Egypt, can you imagine a country suing a movie company? for misrepresentation, and they won. Who paid the money? To Egypt. Who paid the money to Egypt? Who paid for the film? Because it didn't make any damn money. I'll tell you who I think paid for it all. We did. And was it so much of a situation where the Egyptian government felt wronged? Or was it all done to cause grounds for a lawsuit to funnel money to Egypt? It was not an organic situation. It was a planned situation. So that is one of the stories I'm hearing a lot of people from the air quotes gamer community talking about. Because unbeknownst to me, and I'm sure many of you all, that there has been a war going on in the gamer culture, okay? And a gamer culture is, covers stuff that people that like cartoons, people that like Japanese cartoons called anime, people that like furries, people that like, and typically younger crowd, and some entering middle age that grew up gamers, all right? Well, here is this culture. I wouldn't call it a subculture because it's huge. Streamers, TikTokers, Twitch personalities. Well, when people started rejecting movies like the Lord of the Rings sequels, they got puked out about Star Wars. Nobody cares about it anymore. Other franchises, I just can't. I'm not that much into movies, but the Marvel franchise is on its last legs, and people are rebelling, and they voice their opinions on Rotten Tomatoes, on Twitter, and well, Politico did a story about gamers, okay? And Politico, we know, is paid off, now we know, is paid off by USAID. And they did a story that the gamer culture is misogynist, racist, on down the line, because they don't like going to movies that puke them out, okay? They don't want to go to movies that are not exciting. They don't want to go to movies where a 110-pound woman kicks every man in the movie's rear ends. They don't enjoy it. They don't want to play a game where Laura Croft looks like the witch from Snow White. They all but put they left out the wart on the chin with the gray hairs coming out of the wart when they put her in the game. So that means there's something wrong with them. So this has been going on for years. Now it's starting to bubble up. People are finding out. I had no idea. These new games they put out are like $70. And they're talking about going to $100. I remember my little niece, when they first started coming out with these PlayStations. Buy me this game. Oh, let me see it. Let me look at it. Oh, $29. I can remember. I thought, my God, that's top of the line. What happened? Here's Asteroids. It's $2.99. What do you mean? You don't like Asteroids? You never played it? My brain I didn't know what these games had gotten to be too. I'm like, hey, Asteroids was fun. So was Pac-Man. They're looking at you like you're a Martian. Pac-Man. Now they got these live action things with CGI or whatever these characters can do. And, you know, you're not just sitting there ding, 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 shooting stuff, beep, 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 and playing asteroids. You're jumping out of helicopters and doing all kinds of stuff. So anyway, now they're talking about taking the price up to $100 for a dopey game. And they put a scam in there that if you want to advance in the game, you have to buy some kind of add-ons or something. In other words, you don't buy the game and play it, rank yourself, win, whatever. No, you get to a certain level, you want to keep going, you got to buy this add-on. I can see where these people are going to have like $1,000 into a damn game. And to find out that you've been pumping big money into garbage, woke influenced crap, and also being berated on the internet by a bunch of wokey dokes and bots. I remember Centipede. Hi, Greg, how you doing? The Missile Command, yeah. But now they're finding out that a lot of these influencers, what's this guy's name? His name is, oh gosh, there's Hassan. Have you all heard of a guy named Hassan? This is why they got to clean out these sites like Twitch, not just TikTok. This guy Hassan puts up videos of Hamas fighters. He puts up propaganda of them dancing around with machine guns, rocket launchers, holding up banners that say KI and then double L, the Jewish people, and gets away with it. It's looking to be that these creators are getting paid big money from somewhere, and that their views are really bots, and they're getting preferential treatment and pushed up in the algorithm by the U.S. government. There was one girl, her name was Feminist something. She got, her videos earned like $3,000 in ads and merchandise for the entire year. But she got almost $400,000 from somebody. I believe that was US AIDS. And the year before, let's see, 2024, I think she got 320,000, and the year before that, I think she got nearly 400,000 from some mystery source. And I don't want to drop myself out of the studio. I'd pull up her channel name. She's a YouTuber. Oh my gosh. Holy cow, wait a minute. Screen jumping around on me. Feminist something or other. She talks about how men are NAZIs and misogynists and all this kind of stuff. For 2 years, she made over $500,000 or more, but sold hardly any merch or got any advertising revenue. How does that happen? There's a guy named Vosh on YouTube and Twitch. He's a typical liberal. And he comes out with, he left a folder open that some of the people watching his stream, he'll get on a stream and just babble. and it's counterculture, commie, Marxist beliefs. And the majority of the audience is very young people, right? Well, he's got 500,000 followers. He gets 10 million views a month, which is, like around, so somebody on another stream was saying like $40,000 or $50,000 income a month. And that doesn't include selling merchandise or what he's making off of other streaming sites, like Kick, Twitch. This is his YouTube numbers. Well, when the announcement came out that USAID was getting cut off, his streams changed at the snap of a finger. He started looking agitated. He started claiming that he needed more money from his audience, which he normally never asked for. To the person who was analyzing his videos, it seemed obvious that the cutoff of U.S. aid was rattling his cage and getting in his back pocket. I've said that about Midas Trash Network. Where does their money come from? How did they get there? So they've got 3.5 or 3.2 million subscribers. They get 500,000 to 1 million views, sometimes 2 million views on videos. And they're talking irrational crap. Who's paying for it? We're finding out that Politico got paid. We're finding out big news organizations are getting paid by the federal government. We already know that they were censoring Facebook and Twitter. Now we're seeing Netflix is being involved in international lawsuits and pushing wokeness like crazy. Where the hell are they getting their money? Disney was getting gobs of money. Losing gobs of money. How the hell are they staying open? Are we going to find out the same thing about U-Sizzle? Are we going to find out the same thing about U-Sizzle? We already know they were and are involved in the censorship game. But this guy named Vosh had an incident where he left a folder open that people saw. Now get this. He had, they call it lolly PR and then ON, right? Lolly PRON. That's a synonym for kitty, PO and then RN. People saw it, and there was a horse involved. Bestiality. And little ones. I'm not kidding you. They played a clip that's available on X. His name is Vosh, VAUSH, where he says he can see a situation where people can engage in child P and then ORN, and it be perfectly ethical. He advocates for the legalization of that. And this is a person, along with that guy named Hassan, that openly promotes Hamas. How the hell's that happen? It's like Trump said. Who wants this? He's hitting that going for voter ID, and same-day voting, paper ballots, because it's obvious nobody wants this. How do these people get in office? The only way they do is cheat. Same with these streamers. How do they have all this business and all these supposed eyes and make all this money when they're disgusting or radical? It's all being influenced with government money, NGOs, and waste, fraud, and abuse. Highlight the fraud part. So, I mean, if both of them, those characters, and there's other streamers, creators of the same ilk that I think are being financed, along with that feminist woman was getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for God knows what. So anyway, this stuff is great for it to affect the gamer community, younger people, because they're going to be driving a car after we're long gone. Hey, we can be vindicated. Hey, we were proven right. But if the young people don't get it, what good is it? So look for that to blow up more. People finding out about Ben Stiller. People like him. A lot of people, younger people, grew up with him and his stupid movies. Getting paid $4 million to go shake hands with Zelensky. And who else was it? She got 20 million. What was her name? Got 20 million bucks. She used to be married to Bruce Willis. Y'all help me out with that. Who was that? I think there's over 100 million paid to these stars to just go down and shake hands. Go to Ukraine. Remember, I was saying, what is that education secretary going to Ukraine for? Remember, I was saying, what was Karen Bass Ackwards doing in an African country? There you go. Sissy's got it. Angela Jolie. I got her mixed up. I thought Angelina Jolie was married to Bruce Willis, but it was Demi Moore. You're right, Wanda. I got that wrong, didn't I? That's why I asked, because if I don't know, I got to ask. Well, anyway, what they're going to get shocked with, this gamer community, this Cash Patel hearing, I believe, is going to bring up the big question. And not for us, but for the awakening. For the awakening. What is the big question? If you guys remember. Yeah, Weingarten, the screaming leads buying. Hi, Tuco. Because it's going to play into gamers. I mean, I remember a friend of mine, we were watching a bunch of his kids and his nieces and nephews were on the other side of a pond. And they decided to remove a old tree stump. I mean, we're talking girls, boys, like 8 or 10 of them were over there. It was the Easter picnic or something. And they ran over to the other side of the pond. And they decided they were going to build themselves some kind of fort or something. I mean, these are like 9, 10, 11-year-old kids. And they had to move this stump, and it was muddy, and they were huffing and puffing and dragging and pulling and all working together. And he looked at me and said, "You remember when we were kids and we got on a mission?" I said, "Yeah, I remember." I mean, you got a mission, you had to complete it. And if it was something dopey like building a fort on the edge of a pond or digging igloos in snowbanks, you know, we're going to go from one end to the other. We're going to have 3 rooms. Okay. You start digging. You don't stop till you get it done. You get on a mission. You all remember that, folks. We're going to ride our bikes into town and be back before dark, before we get our butts whipped. Okay, let's go. You pedal like crazy. You get to the store and you get your Coke for 10 cents and you, oh boy, got my Coke, and guzzle it down and pedal back. Now looking back, you say, but what, out of my mind, ride my bike that far and to get a dopey Coca-Cola and then ride back. But back then, it was a challenge. It was a mission. Well, these kids are going to get on a mission. They're going to get on a mission. And the big question, and like I said, the young people are the ones that are the most important to be part of the Great Awakening. These old, dried up, purple-haired, mostly broads, I'm sorry, but I got some good clips of nice young ladies saying stuff, because we do have very nice young ladies in this world. But anyway, who cares about those old crones? Those old, I saw somebody put in the chats earlier, Skeksis. Who cares about them if they don't wake up? Go be miserable somewhere. The young people, they're going to be on a mission. And what I think the question is, I've discussed it, and why they have saved Kash Patel for last, why they're stalling on him. Remember what Pam Bondi said. I can't wait, Senator, to hear you question Kash Patel about QAnon. Remember that, folks? We talked about it. I had about 20 or 30 people leave the chats. They're missing it. They're missing it. What are they going to find out about? One of the great many things is going to be in there about game comms. How they, and I use the Disney example, which we were told about in the 17th letter, an internet Star Wars game from Disney where I could communicate through the game with anybody anywhere in the world. And that the Black Hats were using that to do their comms. Rumor had it that John Brennan called himself Darth Sidious, okay? And they got discovered. Q told them, oh, I'm going to get myself in trouble because I actually said the letter. Please don't put it in the chats. We know about your comms in Star Wars, Xbox. And they shut the whole game down worldwide. Somewhere between like I don't know if it was $250,000 or $1 million or whatever, paying customers gone. And that wasn't the only game. What did we learn about Xbox? That they could be used to pilot drones. Oh my God, wait till these kids start to hear about that. Now that they know that they have been being smeared, being called incels, NAZIs, arguing with their friends, putting out big money for crap games. Oh, other creators getting hundreds of thousands of dollars to counter common sense. And then they're going to find out about the 17th letter posts. We're talking about people who could find they had a video where a girl threw, and I'm sorry it happened, threw some puppies in a river because her grandmother told her to. And people got so incensed, they wanted to know where this person was. They started investigating using angles of the sun, time of day, all this kind of stuff. They were able to find out that it was a village in, I think, some Slavic nation. I don't know if it was, I don't know which country it was. One of the Balkan states. And they got right down to the village and contacted the local police about this 12-year-old girl that threw the puppies in the river. So if they want to solve something, if they get on a mission, they'll do it. And what bigger mission than to start looking at these comms and reading about past California fires where the subsidized mainstream media was vilifying the 17th letter posts. And 7 years ago, they were exposing arsonists that were causing the California fires, putting up their arrest records, talking about Haiti and the Clinton Foundation, talking about Epstein, talking about all the stuff we know about. And then when they get into the Podesta paintings, Maria Abramovich, I mean, it is going to be a, never mind $100 for a game to go treasure hunting or figure out a mystery or defeat an enemy or whatever. That's going to be one of the biggest digital entertainments. 5,000 posts for people to decode and to see. They've been doing this for decades. And 9/11, JFK, what they saw in their formative years, a president of the United States getting shot in the ear and bleeding. Wow. That's the ones we got to wake up. Because let me tell you something. Slothful parents, slothful in their actions, slothful in their philosophy, their logic. When they don't fight back against the school board, they don't really stand up for their kids, but they bitch and moan. More than likely would be throwing rocks at Trump philosophically. They may not listen to you. They may not listen to me. They may not listen to Dan Bongino or podcasters that have been putting out the truth for years. But when their kids come up to them and say, guess what I found out? Look what I found out right here. Look at this article I found about Dianne Feinstein in China. Look what I found about John Kerry dealing with Hamas. You know, the place in Palestine, the place that's leveled to the ground that we've been out protesting about it, look who's starting it. Look who's been paying for it. Look at Georgie Porgy Soriosio, right? Oh my, dumb onion. There's so much to find out about. And it's good. I talked about it like the scene from Lord of the Rings, where Treebeard says, "Release the river," and they pull the logs away, and that's how all the information is going to come in to wipe out all the orcs. So, with that backdrop, what do we have going on? A couple of dopey little federal district judges looking at Letitia James like she's an important, serious prosecutor when she's nothing but a dumb fat ass. They're going to stop President Trump. They're going to stop what's coming. I think not. So Trump doesn't need to overact. Trump doesn't need to call in JAG. I look very sideways at that story about the USDA woman being taken away by JAG. Nobody else has reported on it. But they would like to paint Trump out as a dictator. They would like to make it seem more of a pressing matter to impeach him. But if we just go through the normal course of events, we go to court, it goes up the ladder, we find out who in the appellate court is a POS, who on the Supreme Court is a POS. It'll be much more defined who is an enemy of the people, who's got to go. Who's got to go to Gitmo? I don't know. We'll see. And hey, we might have something built in Greenland, a year from now, where we'll be shipping them off. So anyway, it's going to be interesting. I wouldn't go into that 4-year-old trap that the military is going to get called out. We're going to have our big day. We're going to have our big event. But it's not going to be with the nation divided. Can you imagine if Trump acted in a knee-jerk way back in 2017, 18, 19, and did what we're going to do now? As I said, this country would have been irrevocably split beyond repair. Irrevocably split beyond repair. And now we're coming to consensus. We're at the precipice. We'll talk about the precipice some more, because Trump putting a freeze on minting pennies. Many of you have been with me when I talked about pennies in the pool, right? Those same little nieces and nephews and my friends' kids, I throw pennies in the pool and they go get them. If it was a quarter, I'd throw that in the deep end, make them really work for it. But new pennies would disintegrate if left all season in the pool. They were junk. But it costs more than 2 cents to make a 1 cent coin that doesn't even hold up anymore. It turns green and gets blistered and lumpy. I talked a year ago about if you had $50 worth of pennies in a bag, put it on a scale, pure copper, it was worth over $200. That's when your monetary system is at the precipice. They've devalued the currency just like they did in Rome, just like they did in Germany, just like they're doing in Zimbabwe. So, yeah, kids are starting to realize that on the path we're on now, the chances of them ever having security, a home, to continue with a life they're accustomed to is fading away. That's when you get to the precipice. So anyway, folks, tomorrow's Tuesday. If something big happens, I'll go live. I mean, what the heck? Usually I don't broadcast on Tuesdays, but I might go live just because I want to keep on babbling. If not, I'll probably go up Wednesday. Okay, folks? But if you're subscribed and hit the notification bell, you'll know when I go live. And I hope you all remember to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. And again, I want to thank Mike and Bev and Gary and Miss Menderson for going to buy me a coffee. I have a link in the description because I rely totally on viewer support to continue these broadcasts. Oh, I love seeing I want to see these young kids get on a mission. You know, I remember I was doing something. I had a boat on a trailer that was raised high off the ground. I was in a hurry. I'd get up in the boat and I'd jump off the side and land on my feet. I'd run and get something. I'd come back up and I'd jump back up on the boat. And a friend of mine's father, who was advanced in his age, he was 80-some years old. And he said, I just love watching you get things done. He said, it reminds me when I was young. And he had the biggest smile on his face, and I didn't realize I was putting on a show. Of course, now I jumped off a boat, I'd break something. But anyway, the look in his eye, that's what I want to have. I want to have a look in my eye where I watch these young people in the Great Awakening. Okay? So anyway, folks, then next thing we got to do is get them to understand that our culture drifting away, of falling away, as my father said, the great falling away from the word and falling away from living in a way that pleases God brings you to the precipice. And if you're not careful, you'll fall off the precipice. And there's nobody going to be there to catch you. So we got to work on that too, right, folks? So anyway, I hope you all have a great night. And I appreciate you spending your precious time with me. And we'll be getting together soon. So y'all have a great night. This is Mountain Man, over and out.